Hi, this is John Welker with Jerome Cerny Architects here in Lake Forest, Illinois. I'm here today to do a YouTube video on Graphisoft's Archicad and how quickly you can be up and running right out of the box and be able to create a preliminary floor plan and get it onto a piece of paper and out the door to a client without really much effort at all. The program is very intuitive. It's a program that was designed by architects for architects, and you really find that it's very straightforward and very easy to use. I run across a lot of architects, and when we invariably start talking about the CAD software that we use, and they find out I'm using Archicad, they're always intrigued, they're always interested, they've heard good things about it, and yet they don't want to change from their current software, or they might even still be on pencil and paper. Just worried about how much time it's going to take to ramp up and be productive, and they really can't afford to take that time away from production to learn new software. And so if you're also somebody out there that maybe has just downloaded a trial version of Archicad or just purchased Archicad, this will be a very helpful video to get you going, literally right out of the box without any customization to the program. And so how we're going to go ahead and do this is I've got a preliminary floor plan on a PDF file here that I designed a home for my son-in-law and daughter. Kind of a cross design. This was done on a cocktail napkin. I think maybe this might be version 3. And they gave me a list of things that they wanted, and then let me go ahead and get creative. So what we're going to do is I'm going to reference this floor plan and then go to Archicad and start modeling. We don't say draw anymore. We say model. We're going to model this floor plan and show you how to do it. So we'll go ahead down to the bottom here, open up Archicad 18. That's what I have running here on my MacBook Pro. MacBook Pro works very nicely with Archicad, and also Archicad, is a cross-platform, so works on Windows just as well, and you can transfer files from someone that's doing something on Archicad in Windows. Initially, it opens up here and asks you what you want to do. We're going to put in create a new project. We're going to use a template, Archicad's 18 residential. Should be defaulted there. If you have 19 or 20, that's fine. And then down under the work environment here, we're going to click on that and set it to standard profile. And with that, open up the Archicad file, and we'll initially land on a floor plan. And those 4 markers you see on the screen are elevation markers that will automatically generate elevations for us later on. One of the first items we're going to do is just a little bit of cleanup. I said we weren't going to do any customization, but I don't consider this too much customization. We're going to close this navigator window. I just clicked down on it, grabbed it, dragged it over. I'm going to go up to the top here to Window and under Palettes, and I'm going to drill down to the Organizer. And that is just a dual column navigator, if you will. And I'm going to take that and bring that over to the side here, kind of park it there, make it maybe a little bit wider. And then we'll grab the main window and drag it over. Press down on the scroll wheel and just pan over a little bit, put that in the center of our screen. And so the first thing we're going to want to do, let's go back and look at that PDF. And if you can kind of see, we have this cross plan of exterior walls. So a big horizontal box going across the screen and a vertical box going up and down on the screen. So we're going to put those exterior walls in. And to start off with, we're going to look over here. I've got 26 feet as the width of this box. Again, that is what I'm calling the box of walls. And then the length I've written down here at the bottom is 93. So 26 by 93. We're going to click back over to Archicad. I'm going to go over here to the wall tool. All your tools are up and down on the side here. Click on the wall tool, come up here. This is a bunch of settings. We're not going to drill into that at the moment. We're going to come over here, and this is the layer setting, and make sure that we're set for walls exterior. And then this is the geometry method in which we're going to put the walls, model the walls. And if we click down on that, you'll see, and we're holding down the mouse button, we have 4 selections. And we're going to use the box method. This is a single wall, this is multi-wall, box method on an angle. So we're going to click on that box method. Move along here, make sure that our reference line, that's that dark line you see right there, our reference line is on the outside face. If it isn't on yours and you're trying to kind of follow along, just click on that and set it for it. Move here, this is a type of wall. We have 3 types of walls. Again, if we click down on it and hold the mouse button, you're going to see 3 selections that we have. The first is basic, then composite, and then complex. We're going to use that first one, that's just basic. And so click on that. And then in terms of our exterior material, we're just going to select brick here. Again, we're going to only use a basic wall, and we'll change it into a composite wall later on. And then clicked on that by mistake. We're going to come here. This is our story settings, and at this point in time I'm going to slide over to the design tab up in the top of the page, come down to story settings, and you may have different ones on your screen, but what we're going to do is we're going to have 2. One's going to be called first floor, the next one's going to be called first floor plate. So 1 ST FLR PL. And then that first floor starts at 0, and then the height to that first floor plate is going to be, in our case, we're just going to make that 10'2", and that makes that elevation of that top plate at 10'2". Height to the next, we're not going to worry about it because we don't have another one yet. We will put another one in later. We're probably going to put in a lower one, but this is what you want it to look like, again, if you're following along on your software. Click OK, and now we'll come back to where we left off at that story setting, and that means we're going to be putting in walls on the first floor. They're going to start at 0, and they are linked, and the wall height is 10'2", and they are linked to the second floor plate, and that's why that 10'2" is in there, but it's gray and you can't change it because we're actually tied to that. Thus, if we were to change that story height later to 10 foot or 10'3", everything would change automatically. Next is, and last, the wall thickness, and we're going to make this 1 foot because we're going to be doing exterior walls, and I'm planning on brick veneer and 2x6 stud wall. So we'll slide over here and get started with some walls. Click here and drag that horizontal box that you saw in the PDF. And you see that little box going with the cursor, that's the tracker. The first dimension you see is in the X direction. It's highlighted. We're going to make ours 93, as you saw in that PDF. And we just have to type in 93, then tab, and then the width was, top to bottom in the Y direction was 26. Again, no foot needed, and just hit enter. And we've got our box of walls in that horizontal, and that's that box of walls right there. Now, the next one we want to do is do this box of walls. And to do that, we have 21 feet up here. I've changed it since to 23. So this width is 23, and then vertically here, we're missing this, but that's 24. This is 26 and 15. So 24, 26 is 50, and 15 is 65. So 23 by 65. And by the way, we want this wall to start 28 feet from this wall over. Okay? So click back here, and the first thing we're going to do is hover over the end of this wall here, and you're going to see a little dot come up. And when we go over the dot, it turns into a guideline. We click down on it, hold it, drag it to the right, hit the letter D on our keyboard, and that locks it into a drag situation. That means our mouse can kind of float freely here. And we're going to put in the distance there of 28 feet because that's where we want that guideline. And again, just 28 is needed. Okay, and then we're going to be up here 24 feet again, highlight, find the guideline dot, drag it up, hit D as we're dragging, and just type in 24, enter. Now we've got a starting point for our next box of walls. So right at that intersection point, you see how that mouse changes to an intersection symbol. We're going to click there, drag down, and not really dragging anywhere in particular. We're just going to look at the dimensions. That X dimension is the first one highlighted. We're going to type in 23 and then tab into the next one, and we're going to type in 65 and enter. And now we have our cross of exterior walls. And of course, these that are inside here aren't going to be there, so we're going to hit the command key, okay, and the little scissors shows up, and then we're going to hover over our wall and click, 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 and click, and those walls are gone, and we have our exterior walls in place ready to go. Now at this point, if you just wanted to check yourself and make sure you had, you know, some of the dimensions correct, we have a tool called the measure tool. You use that by just clicking on the, I shouldn't say clicking, typing in the M key and going to some point that you want to start measuring from, and then drag it. You don't have to click here. You can just look and see that that's 28 feet. We're hovering over that point. And we'll just, on the fly, come down here and see that that's 26 feet. So we'll escape out of that tool. Those were the numbers we wanted. We want to check to see if that's 24. Hit the M key, click, drag it up, and we've got 24. So we can feel pretty good that we got the walls in at the distances and the location we wanted. Now we're going to do interior walls. We're going to go up. We are in the wall tool. We're going to change the layer to walls interior. We're going to change the method of input to single wall. We're going to stay with that outside face reference line. We'll move along here, everything staying the same, and we'll get to the wall thickness, and we're going to make that 6 inches. And you do have to type in the quotation mark or the inch mark. Now you're ready to go with interior walls, and we're going to do that. We've got a few. Let's go back at that PDF and see. We've got one to close up and kind of make the dining room here. We'll have another one here lining up those two walls. Another one here that's 24 feet off of the garage wall. Another one here that's 6 feet off of the laundry. We've got a 4 foot, just recently talked to her, she's thinking 5 foot now. 5 foot hallway here, a closet here. So if you can remember all that, we're gonna jump back to here and start with a wall there. Now, note right away, that wall is on the wrong side of that reference line. And on the fly here, we just run up with our mouse and go to this little flip icon. And this allows us to flip the wall on the reference line. Click on that, and as you see, the wall is now down on the bottom side. Click over there, and we've got our wall in place. We'll go from there up to there, and we've got that one. Now we'll go over here and hover over that inside of the garage wall, drag a guideline over D. Now we let go, 24, enter, and now we have a wall, we have a guideline ready for our wall to go in. Now, again, you see we clicked on it, put the walls on the inside. We want 24 feet clear, so we need to go flip that. Again, we can do it by going up here. The other way is to realize that if we had, now I'm going to hit the escape key, if we had started up here with the wall, it would have been on the correct side, and we could have drawn it, and we didn't have to make a change. So sometimes you just got to think a little bit ahead, and you can save yourself a click here or there, and that of course speeds up everything. We'll hover over this wall, get that guideline dot, drag the guideline over and go D. I'm going to do 6 feet and click on it. Now if we go up here and pull down, we're going to be on the wrong side because that one put it on, we want 6 feet in between. So we'll go down here, click on this, and we've got it on the right side. Again, you'll get used to really just whipping your mouse right up to the flip tool, and you see it's grayed out here. It can only be flipped after you've started drawing a wall. So you've got to actually click to start a wall like this, and then you have the ability to flip it to the other side. Okay, so we'll just escape there, and just that's to let you know that. So we're going to do this horizontal wall D 5 feet. We'll click there and just arbitrarily run that wall that way. And now you see these two walls are in the hallway. We really don't need them. We're going to hit the command key and our scissors comes up and we hover over what we want to cut out and we cut those two out of there. Now we're going to want to put in, there's a powder room here and a closet. We'll just jump back and refresh your memory of the center portion here. This is a closet, this is a powder room. Entering from the hallway here, we're going to have some cabinetry running around, cabinetry up here. Staircase here in the center of this living room. So let's go ahead and get these walls in. We'll get ourselves a guideline for the front face of that closet and start in that fashion. So there's our guideline running up and down there. We're going to pull that over D 4 feet and then click here and we're going to just arbitrarily draw the wall up. I'm going to click again and get another guideline, pull that over, and I need the D and the width of my closet, and I'm going to make 2'1", and then click there, drag that up, and then again find that guideline, drag it over D, and we're going to do that at 6 feet. Click down here twice, and again arbitrarily just pull something up. Now we'll find the guideline in the horizontal here, we'll pull up, and I'm going to make it D 7 feet. I'm doing that because I want to be able to put a 6-foot bifold door in here and have it fit without any problem with casing. And that'll give us a very generous powder room as well. Now you see those two arbitrary walls, we just get rid of those again by, this is the command key, holding it down, turns into scissors, hover over what you want to cut out, and that cuts it out. Again, this one's arbitrary as well, so we cut that. We're going to leave this one, we'll adjust it accordingly to the cabinetry that we will do. And we're going to do cabinetry with a line tool. We'll click over here under line. And the reason we're going to do that is out of the box, you know, it takes quite a while to put a cabinet plan together, really from scratch. And there's really no reason to take all that time putting cabinets in when it's a preliminary plan like this, because as we all know, our clients will change their minds from that initial plan that we give them. Or at least that's been my experience. So with that, we'll come up here to the line tool. We won't have to do any settings. We're going to put that on a layer called equipment. I would put it on a layer called cabinetry, but Archicad doesn't ship with that, and I'm not going to show you how to add a layer at this point. Again, very easy, but I want to kind of show you without making too many changes to the program out of the box what you can do. We're going to be a solid line to start with, and important here is the line category. We need to change that to a drafting line. Okay, drafting line important. We're going to click on just a regular wall here with no arrowheads, and we're ready to go with that. And so again, many ways that you can go about doing what we're doing today. Okay, there's many methods, and I'm showing you mine, something I've gotten used to over time. As you learn some of the other methods for inputting things, you may find one you like better. Maybe it takes an extra click, maybe it's a less of a click, but whatever works. But again, I'm showing you what I do. Seems to work for a while here. I'm going to run my mouse over this wall here, get that guideline, click down on it. Now I'm going to D 2'1" is going to be a countertop line. I'm going to click there, just arbitrarily pull that line up. Same thing with over here. I'm going to drag it over D 2-1. Click there, drag that up. Now as we drag this up, you see that guideline. I can keep it with the mouse on that guideline relatively easy. But if I want to bring it up and I say, well, I want to kind of align it with that point right there, what I have to do is hit the Shift key, and that will hold the line on that guideline, or hold it on any guideline that we would come to. And it'll hold it there, and then we can move our mouse over to that point. And when that little pencil turns black like that, we know we're right at that point. We can click, and we've stopped that line right in line with that point. We'll click, kind of close that up, and that's the end of that cabinet. Back here, hover again, get our guideline, go D 2-1, and we will click there, draw a line. We got an intersection there. Again, Command key, scissors, click, that line's gone. Now we have a laundry room here running this way with a washer and dryer and that wall and cabinetry line, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Cabinetry line, get our guideline D2-1, and again draw a line for the cabinetry in there, countertop. This island, we'll probably just make it out here even with the end of that to start with. We're going to do this in this fashion. We're going to highlight this line and right click on it. So let's start that again. We're going to come over here and right click on that, and then we're going to go move. And you got to stay in that line as you come over to the next menu, and then go down to drag a copy. And then we're just going to click on it and bring it up. And now we're going to hold the shift key so that that's going to stay in that direction even though our mouse is moving around. And we're going to align it with the end here. We see a little check mark, says that's where we're at. We're going to click, and we've got that line representing the edge of the countertop. That's the eating countertop. So we're going to go move, drag a copy. We're going to come down D, 18 inches. We have to hit the inch, enter, and then again right click, move, drag a copy, and pull that down at D2-1, hit enter, and we have the eating counter and the other countertop there. We'll click off of that, click on this end, and connect those ends. Okay, now right here looks like we had a little arbitrary one, so we'll zoom in with the scroll mouse button, and sorry, we're going to hit the command key and cut that out. Zoom back out a little bit, just pan it over. Click on the wall to make it, I usually refer to it as hot. And now we can move that wall right or left. This little palette comes up. You want to make sure that this icon here is selected. And then just bring it back in line with where the wall was. Bring it down and hold the shift key. We don't want to not hold the shift key and we'll go for looking for that point there. The wall will go on an angle. So we'll bring it down. Again, click it there. And now that's equal to that countertop. Reality is that's not where it's going to be. You want it a couple inches past that. So we'll click on it, we'll hold the shift key down, and then we'll type D, 2 inches, and that'll take it 2 inches past that point. There you have our floor plan with some cabinetry lines in. Let's go ahead and put the upper cabinet lines in as well. And we'll do that by hovering over those walls. D1. And then we're going to go up here, and we're in the line tool. We're going to change that to a dashed line. This is called a hidden line. It doesn't mean it's hidden. It's just that's the name of that particular line type. We'll come down there, go to that intersection point, just drag this down like so. Grab that guideline, D, 1 foot. Put another dashed line going across here like that. We'll come and clean that up in a minute. And do the same thing on this wall, D1, click and go, and we'll do the same thing in that laundry room, D1, and click and put that upper line in. Zooming in with the scroll, command key, you got it, scissors, cut that out, there it goes. We had to get it so that that scissors turned black, and then we actually had something selected that we could then continue to click on and make disappear. So with that, we're ready to put in some objects. One's going to be a sink here, we're going to have a range here, we're going to have a refrigerator over here, toilet in the powder room, vanity here, and we'll get going on that. Again, washer, dryer, and maybe a laundry tray here. So that's going to be under the object tool. We'll go over here to the left side toolbar, click on object, and we'll get ready to click on this in just a minute. Okay, to start putting in some objects, we're going to talk about some special snap points. And again, I'm going to have you go up here to Window, click on that, go to Toolbars, Palettes, and come down to Control Box and Coordinates. We'll click on Coordinates first. This little palette shows up here. Go to the dark spot on the left side of this palette, and we're going to drag it. You click and hold down and drag it down to here, and we're going to set it right on top of that information tab there, and then just go over to the corner of our window and lift that window up just a little bit so we can see those other tools here that go with this window. And so we set that palette up like so. We're going to click on Window again, go to Palettes, we're going to come down to Control Box, and this little control box, can be accessed other ways by going through menus, but for guys that started like I did back, I think I was on version 4.5 of Archicad back in the mid-90s, these were kind of standard palettes that everybody used. And the item that we're going to talk about is this special snap points. This is no special snap point, this is center, and this is multiple. And let me explain that by just going ahead and hitting on this one that has just one little tick mark there, special snap point. And in this box we have it set for half. So it's halfway on a wall. Okay? Now that means that if we look at this wall right here, okay, and we hover over this edge, we're going to find the middle of that wall. Okay, but what if you wanted to find the middle of this room? Well, you can't when you're in this snap point. What you want to do is click on that, hold down, and just go over to that multi-lined one, stay at half, and what that does is interprets that if you come over here, it's going to say what's the closest intersecting items either side of that, and then give you middle of that. So that'll give you middle of that, middle of that, middle of those two lines that are hitting there. This will give you middle of here to this line, middle of that. Okay, get the idea. So we like to have that set either this way or the other, and right now we're going to leave it at this with halfway point, so that when I come here and tell you we're going to go to the object tool on the left, click up here, open that up, and we're going to go look for plumbing, and look for plumbing fixtures, and drill down and go to sinks. We're going to look in here for sinks. The one we want is the multi-style sink right here. Click on it. If these windows aren't open like this, and I'll just shut these because you're going to find this on all objects, we like to open up that preview panel. We like to open up sink settings, and then under sink settings we open up this custom settings. Just by clicking on it, we have two choices. We can do all parameters or custom settings, and then this we select. There's two. We're going to select tap and sink styles, and that's how we get to that. Now once you have this open like this, then when we go to other sinks, those windows will be open for you and you won't have to keep drilling down. So we're going to click on that. That shows us a preview up here. If that dot isn't darkened a little bit, that's the one you want to click to see that preview. Otherwise you're going to see 3D previews of your sink. And you want to see this because you want to see where the hotspot is located for insertion into the model, and we're going to say that's where we want it. We're going to click OK. So now we're going to go up here, and we want to put the sink in the middle of this island, and so that's how we get that little special snap point, little tick mark that I call it. And we're going to click just below it. And now you see that we've got something, and what that is we've got the sink at its center point, but we're still haven't set it in place, we're rotating it, and we're going to rotate it to right there. Now the reason that that's occurring, and if yours is not occurring like that and you just immediately saw the sink, click off of it, undo it, because what you want to do is you don't want to have this geometry method for installation. You want this one, which is a rotated, which allows you to put in the hotspot, the object in with the hotspot, and then rotate it to the angle that you want it. So if you wanted it down at 45, you wanted it, going that way. In our case, this is how we want it, and thus it goes in that fashion. So we'll go and do an arrange here, and go up here to our object tool and go look for this gas cooktop. I think we're going to use this one up here, and we're going to look for cooktop. So under custom settings, we'll click on cooktop. I want a big burner one. I think near the bottom here, there's type 13. That's got 5 burners and looks like that in floor plan. Kind of like that. You've got a center insertion point there, not on a back wall, but I don't know if we have some dimensions there for settings, or I'm not for the edges. I don't know what's going on there, but so we'll make this probably about 2 foot 4 deep, and let's make it 5 feet wide. And I'm not sure that's what we want, but we're going to say okay. And I'm going to come over here and find the center of this wall, and I'm going to click on this location, and that's going to put my range in, and then I'm going to pull this up to here like so, and that gives us a little bit of a funky installation there. I'm again not too sure why that is the way it is. I will change the width of that range, and then I think we'll change the depth just graphically here, pull that down to be even with the countertop line, and we've got that looking pretty good. Now let's go get a refrigerator. Click on that object tool up here, scroll down, see the refrigerator side by side there. We're going to take that, hit the middle insertion point, 3 foot wide. We'll make it a countertop depth, 2 feet 1. Actually it'd be 2 feet probably, but we'll leave it at 2.1. And give it a height of 80 inches. We're not too worried about that at the moment. Click OK. And then we'd like it to be, I want it on this, and I want it in the middle of this. So as I look at that, and I kind of want to see how far this is, we're going to use the measure tool. Click on here, click to there, and that's 5 foot 4. That's probably okay. Not a bad distance, plenty of work room there. So we want to be on the center line here. So our center line of 5 foot 4, of course, would be 2 foot 8. We'll grab a guideline and go D, 2 foot 8, and go enter, and then that gives us this guideline and this intersection point, and we can spin a refrigerator into place, and we have our refrigerator. Let's go look for a toilet. We'll go back to that plumbing equipment and look for toilets. Click on a toilet. This should come up looking like so. If not, you might be in a different button here. Click on this one and you'll get this view. We're going to use that toilet. That's the preview. Again, that has to be lit so that you can see it in that fashion. And we're going to say that's fine. Just like that. Click OK. Now, we want to put that toilet in somewhere on this wall here. So we're going to get a guideline, and I want it 18 inches off that wall to the center. D, 18 inches, enter. I'm going to click on that insertion point, spin it into place, and I've got my toilet. Back up to the object tool. Back over here to sinks. We see a basin cabinet, a vanity cabinet there. We're going to click on that. There's our preview. We want that is the insertion point because we're going to put it in the corner of the wall down here and spin it into place. It's 3 feet wide, 2 feet in depth. That's fine. Okay. Click down here, spin it into place. And now we see that, you know, it's a little small. Maybe it could be a little larger. Maybe if we had it 18 inches off of center here. The easy thing to do there is just hit the shift key, click on that, go to the back hot button, drag it up to until you see that pencil turn black, and we're at the center of the toilet. And that distance is 5'6". If we want to be 1'6" less than that, that'd be 4 feet. So we'll just type in 4, enter, and we've got a cabinet there. It's 4 feet. Let's go ahead and put a washer, dryer, and a laundry tray there. Click on here. Under equipment, there's a mop sink, or as I call it, laundry tray. We'll click on that. We'll make it 2 foot by 2 foot, 3 foot tall, and going in on the center point. That's fine. Click OK. Not sure where we want it on this wall here, so I'm just going to arbitrarily set it. What we'll do there is maybe put the washer there and the dryer there. So we'll click here and go up for equipment and residential, and we'll look at a front-loaded clothes dryer. This is the dryer and the washer. All we do is we just change the designation CD here for clothes dryer. The first one we're going to put in is going to be the clothes washer. So to change that symbol, we can scroll down to under floor plan and sections. It should have been, under custom settings, we'll change that to all parameters, and then we'll look for a 2D representation, open that up, and we'll come down here and look for text. There's CD. So we're going to say CW. I'll make that caps. Say OK. Come along here, and that isn't the right location. So now we can either do one, escape, go back and open this up, click on that point and say OK, and go here and spin it. Okay, or we could have just clicked on it and then dragged it back into place. Now we've got another one that's going to come in here, and we can do this right away and then just highlight that and do a right click, open the object settings. We'll be right there. We see the CW. We'll go back to CD. Say OK, and it's changed it. So we have the dryer, the washer, and the laundry tray. Let's start by going over to the door tool, clicking on it, and we're going to click and open the door settings. And we're going to drill down. If you aren't already there, you're going to start with linked libraries, Archicad library, openings, doors and frames, look for the wood doors, then go down to wood internal doors. Click on that. Gives us a preview here with that button highlighted. We have a door, and it is 3 feet wide by 6'8" tall. We're going to change that and make it 2'6", and we're going to make our doors 8 feet. And then we're going to come down under custom settings here. So if that settings for USA settings isn't open it, and then click on this and make sure it's on custom settings. And then we'll go to general settings here. Okay, and then we're going to do a change to the 2D level here and just say detailed. What that's going to do is show our jamb and show some casing, and I like to have a little detail with the doors. And that's all we really need to change at this point. We'll say OK. And now we're going to put in a few doors, and as I see, I think I forgot my closet wall here. So what we're going to do, this is another quick thing, to go to the wall tool and get the settings for this wall here. And how we do that is hold down the Alt Option key, hover over, in this case, the wall, and when we click on it, it changes us to the wall tool and picks up all the settings for that wall. So whatever we had that set for, this is what we're going to start modeling with. We'll hover over this line, get our guideline D2-1, that's the line for the closet. Click over here, put in that wall. We'll have an entry area going into that. D 3'6" and put a wall in like so. And let's get rid of that by command. The scissors comes up, we click, and it's out. So now we're ready to put in a swing door here, pocket door here, swing door here, bifold door here, bifold door here, and a cased opening here. Again, many ways you can go about putting in doors. If you're going to put in a whole bunch, there's some other ways of putting them in that make it a little bit quicker. But for just a few that we have to do here, I'm going to hover over that line and get a guideline. And I want the door to be in D 3 inches for a stud and a cripple. Okay? And we're going to go back to and click on the door tool, because we were in the walls there a minute ago. So we're back in the door tool. It kept the settings that we had done for it. And now we're going to insert it. Well, we have insertion points here: center, left side, right side. And so we're going to set it for that anchor point. You'll come here, you'll see that there's the door and there's our anchor point. And we don't have to worry about that little sunshine when we're on an interior wall, because that's to show which side is the exterior. It doesn't matter on an interior door. We're going to click on that, and that puts the door in. We still have one more click to go, and that's where we want that door going. So that's where we want it to go. I'm going to jump over here to the powder room. Not that I'm putting the door in that wall, I'm highlighting the edge of that wall so that my guideline will come up, and I'll go D 3 inches, and then do the same thing, click, put the door in. Now we have another door to go here. I'll highlight that wall, click, D 3 inches, and then I've got to change the insertion point to the other side. Click on that, and again I can make the door go anywhere. And I've got my 3 swinging doors in place. With that, we're going to go put a pocket door in. We're going to click on the door settings up here. We're going to go down to specialty doors and frames and open that up, and go down to sliding doors, and the first icon is a pocket. So we're going to click on that pocket. 2.6, we're going to put in, make it 8 feet. We're going to go down to the detail level and make that detailed. And then we're going to go over here. We've got casing selected. And it looks like our door isn't in the center. This says reveal to wall face. I think if we go here and do like 2 inches, that'll put it in the center. All right, that's kind of how I think we want it to look. So we're going to click OK. And now I want to put this in the center of these 2 edges of the countertop. So I'm going to click the center insertion point method, and you'll see a tick mark. And of course you don't see a tick mark. You see a tick mark coming up over here for center of this entire wall. So at this point in time, we want to slide down here and change that special snap point to be the multi-point, and then come back up here and you'll see our tick mark come in. You see the little check mark. We'll click once for the pocket door. Now we can decide which way we want the pocket to go. Click on it again, and the door is in place. All right, let's put in some bifold doors. Again, go up to the settings. We're going to look for bifold doors. This is a 4-unit door. We're going to click on it. We're going to come up here and make it 6 feet by 8 feet. Now, there's another little way we could have made this all go a little quicker, but I'm going to take you through these steps because I think these are good steps just to learn. And then we're going to, again, we want that detailed, and that's how it's going to look. We've got casing set, checked here, and you can see that that's what's going. Now it's closed. I like to see a bifold door open. So what we do there is under general settings, we click on that, we go down to opening, click on it, and then it gives us 2D symbolic display opening width, and we'll just put in a 1 there. That's for 1 foot, and that's how our doors are going to look when we put them in. We'll say OK. We come over here, we find a tick mark. That puts us in the center of that closet. Click on the side we want to go to. Slide over here to this closet. We're going to put doors on this side. We get our tick mark, special snap point as Graphisoft calls it. Click, and we've got our bifold doors in there. Now, to put this cased opening in here, or let's just call it an opening for the moment. We're going to go up, not going to change out a bifold door. We're just going to hit this little button right here, and that says use as an empty hole. We're going to click that, and then we're just going to make it the width that we want. A is the width, 8 is the height. So I want to make that, let's make that 10 foot wide. Okay, we want to insert it on the center anchor point. Come down here, that tick mark comes up, you see, so we can put that in on the center. Click, doesn't matter which side we do this, and we have a cased opening. I'm going to hit the scroll and scroll out a little bit, pan it over into the center somewhat. And you see we've got those interior doors all put in. And again, that can go very, very quickly. It did go quickly there, but I mean, it can go a lot quicker when you know what you're doing and you're not having to explain it as you do it. Okay, now it's time to look at doing some exterior doors. And let's go back to our PDF and look at, we're going to have a garage door down here, one piece, a door, man door from the garage to the house. We have a pair of doors out here to the front stoop. Another pair of doors here, maybe aligned with those, probably some French doors. Then we're going to have 3 sets of French doors on either side of the family room. And then we're going to have, I think we had 2 5/0 French doors going here, but we changed that to a 9-foot 3-panel slider. So those are our exterior doors, and we're going to go put those in. Click back over to Archicad. Let's start just on the right side here and do the garage door. So we'll go to door settings, and because we're in that simple door opening, we've got to drill back down to our doors, openings, and look at doors and frames and wood doors and entrance doors. Actually, we want specialty doors because we're going to do that garage first. So there's a garage door, several styles. I'm going to pick this first one here. We're going to make it 18 feet wide. It is 8 foot tall. That's what it's going to look like in plan. We'll change that 2D level to detailed. Gives us a little more detail for the door. And we're ready to put that door into place. Over there, we'll click on this. We'll find the center point. Now, since we are on an exterior wall, it doesn't matter where that little sunshine is. So we want to make sure that we're on the outside edge of the wall. And then we click there, and then this is going to give us the door in place, in center, and kind of shows what kind of space it'll take up when it's in the up position. Now we'll do a single door here. I don't know if we'll set it in the center of that, or maybe we'll hold it close to that side wall. Let's go up here to our door settings, go back to wood entrance doors, first door here. I know it looks like a shower door, but it just means it's a single entrance door. I'm going to click on that. We'll look at, I don't know if we're going to be 3 feet. Well, we'll leave it at 3 feet wide, 8 foot tall, and make it easier to get things in and out of the house from the garage. And we want to have some detail again, so we're going to go down to here, click on detail. That gives us a door thickness and a jamb. And actually, those jambs are a little fat for me. So let me show you how we can change those. We're going to click down here and go to door frame, and then we have a door frame right now. It's 2 inches, probably more typical of being 3/4 of an inch. And type that in, and that'll put that in to this side and to the head piece as well. And we'll say just as long as we're here, we'll make one other change to the door. This is the frame style. Okay, you just see a basic jamb there. Since it's an exterior door, it'd probably be rabbited. So we want to take style 3 and give ourselves a rabbited, and then that may in fact maybe make that, let's make that an inch. And that'll be a little more accurate. Again, early on, preliminary is not that important, but let's go with it. We'll click OK, and one more thing I wanted to do. Go back up, open that up. We're going to click in here under settings, and we're going to go look for the threshold and sill settings. Under threshold type, we're going to click extended both sides. That gives us 2 lines in there for the threshold, and that just helps kind of show that it's an exterior door as well. Click OK. All right, there we go. So let's, we want to put that in 3 inches from that wall. So we'll hover, we'll get that guideline, drag it up, D, 3 inches, and that's where we're going to put in our door. Now we're in the center insertion, so we have to go up here and go to the other. We'll see if I caught the right one. I didn't. It's the other. You know, for as long as I've used this program, it just baffles me as to the logic there. We should probably spend a few minutes thinking about that. Anyhow, okay, we're ready to click in. We don't want to click in on this side because the sun shines on the inside of the house. We want it to be on the outside. We'll click there. We don't have to have the door swing that way. We just move our mouse over here, and we've got it set in proper fashion. And then by setting it over, you know, instead of centered in this hallway, we give ourselves a little more room for that closet to open up and people to come in, take their coats off and shoes and so on. All right, so let's go over to, we've got a door that's going to go in here for the laundry to the outside. We'll hover over this wall here to get a guideline. Go D, 3 inches. And I don't think we're going to probably use a 3/0 door there. Let's make that a 2/8. And then let's go ahead and click. And again, we got the wrong insertion point. Change that. And we bring that over to here. Let's zoom in a little bit. And we find that point. Click it, and we've got our door in place. All right, so that's our 2 single swing doors. We have a pair of doors, and 3 pairs or 6 pairs up here. So with that, we'll change. Now, in entrance doors, and that would be considered an entrance door, they don't have a double door. So we have to change and just go to wood internal doors and go down to a double door, version 18 for me. Yours would say 19 or 20 if you're on that version. And before we click on this, what we're going to do, and this is another one of these speed things that pay attention. We had this other door open, and we put it in, and remember we went in there and put the threshold in, and we did the jam, and we did made sure the casing was right, and so we made some changes. Well, all those settings, okay, are available to us. We just go and drill down to wherever the door is that we want to now use, and we hit Alt Command, and you see this little needle show up, and we can inject the settings into that door. So we've now selected that door, we injected all the settings. The only thing that we need to change, because it did make it a 2'8", is we're going to have a pair of doors, so we're going to have them 6 foot in terms of width. And this is the European version of a double door. They have one that's larger than the other, what they call the main door. So we have to change this to be 2 doors in what's called the proportionate style. Under settings here, we're going to drill down here to shape. And you'll see we have a shape. And the first thing we're going to do is say we want it proportionate, and we want it 50-50. So we put in 50%, and you'll see that now be 2 equal doors. Why they do it that way, I have no idea. Okay, with that, now we have that double door ready to go. We're going to want to insert it here, and probably with the other anchor point, and highlight this wall, get our guideline. Let's go over a foot there, D1, and enter. Zoom in a little bit, and just click on, again, the outside edge of the wall, and move to the inside, and that's the way the doors will swing. And you can see we've got a jamb, a rabbited jamb, and we've got casing, and we've got our threshold lines. And that was because we brought those all over by injecting them in. Okay, same thing, we want to put a double door in there. We're going to hover over, guideline, D1, enter, and we've got to change our insertion point. Let's just zoom in a little bit and click there, and we've got that in place. Now, we've got 3 sets to put along this wall, 3 sets to put along this wall. And the first thing we're going to do is put the center one in and use center insertion point. So there it is. Now you see those 2 check marks, they're not the same because what they're doing is giving you the center point of here from this point to this end wall point here. And the one on the outside is giving it to you from the outside edge of this wall to the outside of this wall. So you have to decide which one you want to use. I'm going to say I'm going to probably use that one. And I just kind of get my mouse set up on that, and then I bring it to the outside, click on it, and I've got my door. I'll do the same thing over on this side. Highlight it. Now, you know, I'm not going up to that check mark. I'm staying with that check mark and just scooting over, clicking, and putting that in. Now, what we can do here is again, to speed things up, I'm going to want about a foot in between the next doors, maybe 8 inches even. So what we're going to do is we're going to work both sides at the same time. I'm going to click on these doors and make them both hot, as I call it. And we're going to zoom in a little bit. And what we're going to do is we're going to right click on that hot spot right there, which is the opening in the wall. Right click on that, move, drag a copy. Okay, so I'm going to take that point with the little check mark and I'm going to drag it up, and I'm going to see that if I come up here, it's 6 foot 1.5, and if I want 8 inches more, that's going to make it 6 9.5. So I'm going to type D 6-9.5, and I'm in place. And I've moved both of those and I've put copies there. Now without clicking and just a little bit of thinking, we've got 6 foot 9.5, we went this way. Okay, so we're going to right click here, we're going to say move, drag a copy, and now we're going to drag, and what happened there was I actually highlighted the wall and we unhighlighted the 2 doors. So we're going to go back and click on both these doors, make them hot again, right click, move, drag a copy, and that 6 foot 9.5 going that way is double going the other way. Of course, is 13.7. So all we do is kind of drag in this fashion and do D13-7, hit enter, and we've got those set up, and we'll zoom out a little bit, take a look at that. Again, just a couple little tricks to make it, speedy and equal. And, we could go pop in each one and then adjust it and use some guidelines, but we didn't have to do that. We just had to use some tick marks and a little bit of math. We'll put in that slider over here. I was thinking I knew we had one more to go. And we're going to do that by going into the specialty doors and frames, down to sliding doors, and to this the sliding door, triple door here. And if we want, I think we can actually inject the settings here so that we'll have casing and threshold, and then we want to just change it to a 9 foot wide. And then you can see it's a totally closed unit right now. So I like to show it in a little bit of an open so you know which side the panels are going to slide from. So what we'll do is click here and go to opening, and 2D display again, we'll just make it a foot like we did when we were working with the bifold door. And then we'll click OK, and we'd like to put it in center, and we're already in the center anchor point, so that's great. And we can click on either side here where that check mark is because it's measuring to the same point. We'll click on that as the outside, and now we want to look and see, do we want doors there, like so. And I normally would say that the sliding tracks would be on the interior, so as those doors opened, and I want it to open on this side, so I'm going to set it like this. Okay, so doors are in. Sorry, I say so too many times too. And we're ready to put in some. Let's put in some windows. We'll click on Windows, open up Settings. We're going to go look for a casement window, and we're going to set our window to be 2'6" wide, and we're going to make it 7 foot tall with a header for the window at 9 feet. All right, there's our preview for the window. I'd kind of like to see casing going along with it, although I think we might have some issues with it in terms of the wall type, but let's try it for now. And then set our 2D level to detailed, and we've got those set up, and we'll go ahead and put that window in place. Click OK. What I want to do is have a window in the center. I'm going to have 3 of these, and they're going to be separated by 8 inches of masonry. So I'm going to set the first one at center and click on the outside. We'll zoom in on that area a little bit so you can see it. And now I'd like to have 8 inches of masonry in between, and we can decide whether we want that 8 inches to start there, or we get the 8 inches to start on the outside of the brick mold. And even though this isn't technically correct because that brick mold is going to be inset, it will be later when we change this wall into a composite wall. So where you'd see actually the brick and the airspace and the insulated sheathing 2x6, insulation, gypsum board. So what we'll do is we're going to right click on this window, and that did the wall, so we'll go back out to here and say right click on it, and we're going to say move, drag a copy, and we'll click on this opening point here and drag it over to this one, and that's 2'6½". And if we want 8 inches more from there, that's going to give us 3 feet to 2½. So D 3-2.5, and we enter. With it still hot, we're going to go here and say move, drag a copy, and double that 3 2.5. We can click anywhere on that window. 3 2.5 times 2 is 6'5". We'll just drag that over to get an idea. That's where it's going to be. D in 6-5, enter. We don't have to actually hit the D when we're sliding or moving a door or window because it can only stay in the wall, so it's not like with our mouse we can't arbitrarily take it outside of the wall and click on it. We'll click off of that, and we've got our 3 windows set like so. I did forget an exterior door. Let's go back over here. We've got that exterior door, and we have a couple windows flanking it on either side. So on the fly, we're going to go back and get the door tool and a door setting, and we're going to do that by highlighting that and holding down the Alt key and just go over a hotspot. You can get them, in a lot of different locations, and you'll see the name actually come up of what you've got selected, and just suck up those settings. And then we're going to come over here and set it. We'll use the center anchor point, and I'm going to set it like so. And I'm going to have the door open that way. And then I'll go back to the window, suck up its settings. It changes the tool to the window tool. And I'm going to have these flank and be 8 inches as well. So I'm going to put one in here, and I'm going to put one in here. And then I'm going to zoom in a little on this. And what I'm going to do is highlight that window, go Control D for drag, grab that spot, drag it to that spot. Okay, Control D again, grab it anywhere, and go D 8 inches. And that gives us 8 inches in between. And then do the same thing on this one, Control D, and take that point, bring it to right there, and then Control D, click it anywhere, D 8 inches. Oh, I think we hit 8 feet. We'll undo and go back there and say Control D, 8 inches, and There we go. Click off of that, and we've got the door into window set. I'm going to repeat this style of windows here. So again, just find the center point, click, and insert. And I'm going to grab that window. And since I know the dimension, I don't have to be specific in going to find out that it's 6.5 wide. So I'm going to say move, drag a copy, and we went 3 foot 2.5, D 3-2.5, enter. And then again, right click, drag a copy, and we'll just do some math and go 6 foot 5. So D 6-5, enter. And we've got those, click off of that. And when I'm saying click off of, I just go out into space and click somewhere, and then you're not addressing that window any longer. Now let's put in, we have 2 chimneys and 2 fireplaces. Go back to the plan. There's the fireplace chimney over here, centered on that, centered on this. Click back. And how we're going to do that is we're going to think about the walls that we're going to use. And the walls, we want to just change and go right to the wall tool. What's easy to do is just, like suck that up. We're in the wall tool. That puts everything up in here. We're set for exteriors. We want to start by using the box method. Outside face, brick, thickness. Thickness will change. We'll bring that down to 8 inches. And that'll be indicative of 4 inches of brick, nominally, and 4 inches of block. And then we're going to create a box of walls here. And I'm going to make that box 8 feet wide, because that's the width I want to have for the fireplace. And then tab to, we'll make the chimney 3 feet in its depth, and hit enter. And we've got these 4 walls. We're going to move these all together. So what we're going to do is highlight them, and we're going to group them. Okay, so now we can go up here to edit and group, or we can do Command G and group, and you'll see that all the walls turn a different color, and they are now a group. So we're going to drag that group. We'll zoom in a little bit, find the center point here, and then I'll just drag down here and find the center point of this wall, and I'll click on it. And then I'll go and drag it one more time just down in the Y direction, and I'm going to go D 1 foot, because that's what I wanted to project into the room, and click off of that. And then this wall in here I don't want, so I hit the Command key, scissors comes up, click, and it's gone. And now we want to do the same thing over here. So again, rather than recreate, we'll just right click on that, go move, drag a copy, and just bring that over here. And we'll hit the Command E key, which is the rotate, and we'll just take that unit and rotate it 90 degrees. Zoom back in a little bit here, and go Control D, hover over this, find the center point, and hover over this wall and find the center point of that wall. Should be coming up. There it is. Click on that, and then go Control D, and I'm going to bring that in a foot as well. Chimney's there, Command key, or click off of that, Command key, and we've got that cleaned up. Now we'd like to have a fireplace shown there. We're going to go over to our Object tool. We're going to go up to Settings, and not sure where the fireplace is. And so one of the easy ways to find anything is to just click on this box up on top of the object and type in fireplace. That will go look for fireplaces, and you'll see quite a few, with the first 6 come up are pretty standard. And then we're going to take this one, click on it. We're going to see a preview of it. Its insertion point is on the back wall right now. We don't have to worry about the dimensions at this moment. We're going to want to just go ahead and put it in. So I'm going to grab that and say OK, and I'm going to go to the back side of this wall. Click there. You'll see that I'm in that rotate insertion method, and so I'll rotate the fireplace like so, and we've got it in place. Now we wouldn't have it recessed in like that, so we'll highlight that, we'll grab that point right there and just stretch this out to here. Alright, and then take that M tool, hit the M key, and let's just see how wide this is. Okay, and that's 4'1". You know, if we're happy with that, you know, we can leave it. If we'd like to make it larger, we can stretch it, or we could go up here where the 4'1" is shown and click on that, and let's make it 4'6". And because we put it in with the center point, it made it equidistant, and when it expanded it. And now the only other thing I'm going to suggest, and again, this isn't totally correct of how we're going to see this fireplace, because this is going to be a brick fireplace. It's not going to have a surround piece here like this, but we'll change that later. The only thing I'd like to do visually is just make this hearth at a 20-inch depth, and I can tell just by looking at it it's not 20 inches. So what we'll do is just right click on it, open up the settings, and we're going to go into structural dimensions. So under custom settings, structural dimensions, look for the flush hearth offset. Currently it's 7 7/8. We're going to type in 20 inches and enter. And now we've got a fireplace that I think looks pretty good for a preliminary basis. And we can tweak that obviously when we get to the point of actually designing what we want the face of that fireplace to look like. So with that highlighted like that, we're going to right click on it, and we're going to say move, you guessed it, drag a copy. And up here we'll go, and as I go up there, I'm going to click down on the mouse button and pan down so I can see where I'm going. Release the button. I've still got the fireplace. I'm going to put it here. I'm going to do Command E for the rotate tool, put it on the back side of the fireplace, do it like so. Command D, grab the back middle, find the tick mark, up it comes, in place, no other changes needed. We've got that done. So there's our chimneys in place. Looks like we have a little wall joining problem there. So what we're going to do is highlight both of those walls, go up to the very top up here, and this is our quick join. We're going to click that, and that should, of course, when I'm demonstrating it, it doesn't. I don't know why that happened. I'm just going to grab this wall and pull it back to here, then highlight that wall, then go up and join them. And it joined them, but it's got an issue. I don't know what that issue is, but we'll have to come back and look at that later and see why that's not joining correctly. It's that like this one is here, why that's not cleaning up. And right at the moment, I don't have a clue. Right, I figured out what was going on here. We actually have two walls here, one with doors in it and one without doors in it. And so we're going to click on that one and hit delete. And that obviously had a wall with a door in it. You see how it now cleaned up, that door went away. And you know, I think that's back when we clicked on that wall and door and I had to unclick that we somehow got that problem. So we'll just show you another method of taking this door, right clicking on it, move, drag a copy. I'm going to go to the center, okay? Not worry about that number that we had to, you know, because I forget what it is, but I do know I want it centered on this one. So I can take this one, pull it down, come over here, highlight this door and find the check mark, and it changes right there. So I know I'm in the center of that door, and now I've got those centered the same. But as I look at this and I look at this, I go, no, that's not the case. So I'll undo that, go Control D again. I'm going to grab this point, and I'm going to come over here and find that check mark. So I think I was grabbing maybe something that had to do with that number of the door, that marker. We'll click on here, and of course I just did drag and didn't do move, drag a copy. So again, we'll click that one and we'll just drag it up. So we see we didn't have to undo that to do what we did. Okay, I think those look pretty good. Pairs of doors, and we'll go back and to our windows after we had done those. And we're going to put in some specialty corner windows here. If we go back to our PDF, this is a corner and corner glass. So we're going to have a corner glass piece here, glass window there, and then we have another picture window And I don't know what was going on here. We'll throw another picture window in there and see if we like that. So we're going to come down to the bottom of the toolbar, click on More, and we'll see Corner Window Tool. Up here it's set up, we're set as a fixed window. And we're going to open up those settings, and we're going to come in here and change the width to 6 feet. We're going to change the height to 7. We'll put the header at 9. And then we're going to come down here and we'll leave off casing for the moment. I'll explain why later. Make our detail level detailed. And then we're going to want to change the custom corner. And what we want to do here is we're going to click on left, because when we come down and put this one in, it'll be left. And instead of a frame, we want glass, so that it's going to look like this. We're going to leave off that custom corner there and leave that as glass. Now it grayed out, and I don't think we could actually change it to glass unless we click one of these first. But then we want to unclick those and then say OK. And now it's going to interpret that again, that we want that. But we're going to get a correct, where we have a jam here, jam over here, and we have glass. Let's just zoom in on that a little bit. Okay. So up here we're going to do the same thing. Click, outside, and there we go. We've got our corner glass. I'm going to put in another fixed piece of glass there. That's under fixed windows, 6 foot wide, 7. We're not going to be a custom corner window. I'm going to say OK, and then we're going to come here and we're going to go, well, it does already still have us out. That's because we stuck with our corner window here. We need to come up here and click on Window, and then go and set that to our fixed windows. Fixed one, 6 feet, 7 feet. It's set at 9. Detail level. Say OK. Now that'll give us the ability to put in a window here. That's the outside window here. That's the outside. And I think again we're going to set this up for 8 inches. Alright, and then we want that to match over here. So we'll easily just take this, go Command D, grab the center point. We're going to pull that so that it just matches that one. And we've got the situation we wanted, or intended. I don't know what we really had going on in our PDF and what I was thinking when I was doing these windows. The glass corner might have been an afterthought, and I had already delineated some, like a triple casement there or something. So anyhow, that looks pretty good. With that, we will move on to our stair tool. The stair tool, over in the toolbar, we will click stair. And we'll come up to stair here, and we're going to come right to create stair. And make sure that the stair is highlighted, not the ramp. And we're going to pick this shape, this U return with a landing. And we're going to say OK. And then we've got all these settings that come up. And so the first thing we're going to do is set the floor-to-floor height. And in our case, we were 10'2" to the plate. Then we have another eye joist, a 12-inch eye joist, and 3/4 inch sheathing. All right, so we have 10'2" and 1 foot and 3/4. So we're 11, 2 3/4 is what we're going to type in there. 2.75. And I hit return by mistake. I just want to click off of that. We're going to lock that because we don't want that to change. We're going to set the width of each of those runs. I'm going to use 3'6", and then the overall width I'm going to set something a little larger than double the 3/6, so let's say 7/6. We're going to lock both of those because we don't want them to change. The overall length we're not going to set yet, and the amount of risers we're not going to set yet. We're going to come down here, make sure we've clicked on this. This is how we want that upper riser to look, not like this. And then we're going to look at our treads and our rise. So I kind of like to be in that 10-inch tread. And if I lock that, that gets me a 7.5 inch riser, and we'll lock that. And that gives us 2 flights of 9 risers each. We'll lock that. And then what we're going to do here is this dimension on both sides here, we want that to be the same. I just need a couple inches. And then the landing overall is going to be, we're going to make that 4. So we'll do this down here. I think we can do this first. 2 inches, and then 2 inches, and then make this 4 feet. And then change that. So I guess we had to do that first. Hit that 4 feet, then make this 2 inches, and then make this 2 inches. And then this is what it's going to look like. We don't have to worry about locking these. That's what it's going to look like. All right. We have railing settings that we can do. We're not going to set those railing settings for the moment. We're just going to want to get this on our plan. We can also hit this little button down here for check stair. That checks the tread, rise, run ratios, and it tells you the stair is okay. So it's okay. Click on that. Gives it a name, stair 1. You can make it any name you want. It's going to embed it in our embedded library, so it's available to us or available to the program. And we want to put that stair in somewhere here. So we'll click on it, just put it so that we're looking at it. And first few things we're going to look at and change is I want solid lines running around. So I'm going to highlight that, go up here and hit floor plan section, and then I'm going to enable objects line type. I'm going to not enable it, and that'll make those all regular lines as set up there. And then I don't want the numbers on our treads, and I don't want the calculation going up. And so the way we have to do that is right click on this, open the stair selection settings, and go look at text display. And we kind of come down here, we see where the up is, and that's fine. And then we see parallel walking line, font size, rise and run text. Okay, we don't want the rise and run text turned on. And then with the numbering, let's see where that is. Show numbering. We don't want the numbering. Put that off. And we're going to say OK. And there we have what it looks like. Let's do a rotate, Command E. Just pick anywhere on it, drag down, hold it in with the Shift key, click, and then turn it like so. Now where we want it is the front face of it to be in line with this, so we'll get a guideline. And then we can take the staircase by going Control D and bring it back to that line. And then we want to find a place that we'd like to put this in the center. Now unfortunately this doesn't have a center hotspot, so that we can't set it up for that. But what it does have is an edge on both sides. We have a bunch of hotspots there. So what we're going to do is go Control D, and we're going to drag this hotspot in the vertical position. Okay, we're holding down the Shift key, and we're going to come over here and find the center point of this fireplace. Now you're noting that I'm not getting a center tick mark. Well, that's because I'm holding the Shift key down. I have to let this thing kind of fly and go over here, and now the tick mark comes up. And as it comes up, then I come back here, hold that, shift it, come back over, line it up, and now I've got the edge on the center there. We made this 7'6" wide, so if I want to have this in the center, I got to come down 3, 9, Control D, D, 3-9. And now it's in the center of the room. and it's even with there, and it's on this center point. We'll click off of it, and we have our staircase in place. Going up here, and if it was opposite that, and we needed to change it, we just highlight it and we'd mirror a copy, or mirror it, that's all. So there we have the staircase in place. So with that, a lot of times I like to have this floor plan when we're looking at it as a preliminary. I don't want to see door markers. I really like to see walls that are solid. You know, what I used to do is, back in the day when we drew, we had a red pencil and we went back in and post-shade the walls. So we can do that here. We're going to come over to our organizer and just double click to make sure we're sitting in that schematic design first floor. Okay, and then we have all these settings for this view that we have of the first floor. We're going to click on settings. We're going to come here and we're going to look at these general settings for these items, and we're going to stop at model view options. And at this point, we've been working under drafting and fill. We're going to change that to presentation solid. This comes this way. We're going to click on that, and what that's going to do is, under a setting that is set up for presentation solid, these markers are going to go away and those walls are going to go solid. And that looks, I think, a lot more like a preliminary design. If you note up at the top here, we have that one marker in our way. We're just going to hit the shift key, click on it, go Control D, drag it up a little bit and get it out of our way. Okay, click off of it. So I like to put in some flooring ideas, and I know they're looking at doing just a wood strip floor. So what we're going to do is we're going to just use a fill, and we're going to come up here. It's set up, if it isn't, this is your layer you want to put it on, area fills, and we're going to put it in the rectangular method, and we don't want it to be brick looking. We're going to want to make it look like, let's say, parallel 3-inch lines. Okay, so whether it's 2 1/4, 3-inch, we could make it 6-inch. We'll use the 3. And you see this little icon here. We're going to put it in a rectangular fashion. We can, let me just show you. Click on that, bring this over to this side, click on that, and we've got our strip flooring going. Now that's not the way we're going to angle, we're going to run it this way. So the way we change that is do that, open this, and then we go under construction method for this fill, and instead of what was going in that way relative to the project origin, we're going to click on this that says relative to the fill origin. And what that's going to give us, we're going to click on it, say OK. It gave us that little line with those 2 highlighted points. And what that does is allows us to take it by clicking there, and you can see rotating it around, clicking like so, and now we have it going the way we want it to. The entire fill is still highlighted. What we'll do is now just edit that fill and expand it to go where we want it to go. And in this case, we're going to take this, we're going to grab this edge, and then this palette comes up, and we're going to go to move an edge, and then we're going to drag that edge all the way down to this wall. Okay, and we're going to manipulate this some more by coming to this point over here, just under that point, clicking and going to a single point insertion, and then we're just going to go up to that point. If we click there, we have some problems. So you just always don't click right at the point you want to put that little handle. We'll click on that. Now we have this edge that's we can take by clicking on it, changing to the edge, and bringing it over to that wall. That's how that's running. We'll look down here. We want to run this down the hallway. Zoom in on that a little bit. And again, we just click there, use 1 point insertion, click there, you saw the pencil turn black, so you knew we were at the wall. Click on the edge, change it, drag, and we're down to here. We also want it to go into that closet. So we're going to click on that edge, give ourselves a point, click on the edge, drag it, and in we go. Now, it didn't go over all the way. We can just go ahead and click on that edge and pull it to there, and we're fine. We'll click off of that. That gave us that whole area. Now, we don't want it running under our cabinetry, and so what we're going to do is re-highlight the fill just by hitting Shift key, and then when it highlights, we click on it. And now when we're there, we're going to click on this point here and basically create a hole. And we pull out that box to that point there, and we've now taken that fill out of that area. We're going to do the same thing along here for this cabinetry. Don't know what that did. We'll undo that. Didn't like it when I went to that point there, so how about we'll go to this point here, and it still doesn't like it. How about this point here? Just keeps jumping over to another point. We'll get rid of that, and then here, we're going to get rid of that. Zoom in a little bit, add a point, click, grab the edge, drag, we got that out of there. This powder room, we don't want it in there as well. So we're going to click on the powder room and cut that out. And we don't want it under the stairs, so we're going to click out here, drag it over to here, zoom in a little bit to get that point, and we've got all of that fill out of where we want it. Except it looks like we've got it a little stuck into that fireplace there. So what we'll do is highlight that, see that we need to put a couple of points here, and then grab this edge and bring the edge to here, and then we've manipulated that. And this fireplace, just in display order, happens to be on top, so that's why we didn't have to, cut that out as well. Okay, so we've got that in. How about this? How about this office here? Let's put some carpet in there. We'll go and click on. I think we have some kind of carpet stipple somewhere, if I recall. Again, I have my own all set up. There's some stipple random. I think they're, for some reason I remember carpet. There we go, carpet light. Okay, so we'll come in here, run that down to there, and got it in that room. We just need to expand it in here. Now, like you saw me doing, just to show you there's another way of manipulating these fills, is that we could put a point there and then pull that edge down. The other is we can put a point there, okay, and then just take a point there and bring it down to there, and take a point there and bring it down to there, and you've got it. Now I didn't grab it exactly, so I've got to go back and move it. Click off of it. Another way to go about it. One's not right, one's not wrong. Let's put some tile in this laundry room. We'll go up and look at some kind of grid that, let's say maybe use an 8-inch grid. And we'll go to the front face of the countertop there, drag that down, and we've got that in place. And now here, we're going to do a little larger, 12. And what you're going to see is I'm going to put this in place. And I like to throw that on a 45-degree angle. So we're going to select that fill, and we're going to go and right-click. No, it's not letting me right-click. Right-click and fill selections. And then we're going to go to that construction method again. Go to there. You'll watch that line pop up in there. And we're going to take that and we're going to rotate. We're not going to go 90. We're just going to do 45. Click on that. Click outside of it, and we've got that in place on a 45. this dining room. We could run the wood flooring the same way. I'm going to elect to run it the other way. So I'm just going to pick up the settings of this flooring, and then I'm going to draw it in. And because that flooring had the setting already for this construction method, so that we can put the direction in, this option comes up for us right away, and we'll just click somewhere in the field here and then drag it the direction we want that wood floor to go. So if we want that wood floor to go on a 45, or vertically or horizontally, which is what I want, click, and that puts it in that way. So we'll zoom out a little bit, take a look, and the plan's looking pretty good. We'll start on labels and put room names in. This is the text tool. That's going to be on the annotation text layer. That's fine. We're going to use the Arial font, and many that you could select. I'm going to set it for 18 here in terms of the height, and I'm going to underline it, and I want it to go in centered, center wrapping, if you will, and then I want to use a center insertion point or anchor point. And we'll start right out here and just say we'll put in the family room here, double click to start it, and we'll type in family room, and we'll click off. You don't hit enter, you'll just add another line to that. Come over here, double click, living room. All right, and how about kitchen? Click off, and office, and garage, and we'll abbreviate laundry here. Oop, didn't click again. There we go. Click off. So double clicking it gets it opened and centered right there. And we'll put in dining room. Click outside of that. Label this powder room, PDR. Now I will tell you at this point, once you get going with the program, you save these sorts of things in a file called favorites, and you save in terms of the size and the font and everything. And then when you go to put in text, you'll have a little box come up with favorites, and you'll just double click on living room, come over, double click here, double click right here, and in will go living room. You don't have to do any typing. So there's a lot of things will speed up later on when you start to understand the other facets of the program and how quickly you really can do this. I wouldn't have to type all that, although you see it wasn't all that long. I'm going to put in the foyer name here, but I'm going to make that 12. And I'm also going to put in serving here in that 12 font. Okay. And maybe, what the heck? How about hallway? All right, that's looking pretty good. We'd probably like to put dimensions in, just something underneath there to give my son and daughter, or son-in-law and daughter, an idea of the room size. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to take the measure tool, M, and I'm going to come down to the corner here, and I'm going to click once and just drag it up to here. It's 24 feet, and I'm going to drag it over to about here. So I'm going to call it 28 by 24. I'm going to escape. I've got it set to 12 point. That's what I want. I don't want it underlined. And I'm going to come in here and type in 28 feet dash 0, small x or by, 24 feet dash 0. Not going to use inches. All right. Family room. Same thing. We're going to do the M key. Come down here, go up to here, see it's 24 across, 21, So we'll double click there and do 24 feet dash 0 by 21 feet dash 0. Click off of that. And so there's my preliminary floor plan with some flooring delineated and the names of the rooms. And I suppose one could take it at this point. We could add a stoop, we could add sidewalks, we could do some things on the outside. You know, totally up to you. But we're going to take it from here. And now I'm going to show you how to put this onto a sheet of paper. And we're going to do that by having this side over here on the layout book and this side under the view. And that's our first floor that we've been working on. That's highlighted right there. And what we're going to do is look over here, and we've already got some sheets set up for the project. A2 is set up for first floor plan. So you see that's a view right there. That's already got a first floor plan on it. It's not the right one. So what we're going to do is going to click on that, right click, and go delete. And then we're going to grab ours and we're going to drag it over, and we're going to try to drop it there. Now, I'm on a Mac and I have a Sierra operating system, and I understand this is one of the glitches. We have to expand our organizer a little bit and also play with the other side. This one a little wider. There we go. We had to get that wide. So now we can drop it onto that sheet. We're going to double click that sheet. The sheet opens up and our floor plan has been put on there. Two things as we look at it that I just want to talk about is that these markers for the elevations, okay, we can simply hide those now by just hitting the shift key, clicking on our drawing or our view, and grabbing these windows, and that's how we move an edge, and just getting it on this side of that marker. Okay, or we could go back to the plan in the view and turn off those elevation markers. Right now we're going to do it this way because there's nothing wrong with it. And then I wanted to note here too, the name of this, the way it's written here, first floor, is the way it shows up here on our view. So if you went in here and renamed that, so I just clicked on that and went rename, and just say, let's say you wanted it to be, you know, first floor typed out like that. You hit rename, instantly changed it up here, instantly changed it on our view. All right, so we'll click off of that box. This is a non-printing box that you see here. We won't bother going into that for a moment. Now, so what you have here is, it happened to be set up on the right size sheet. Okay, so this first floor layout, okay, has these settings to it down here. It's a 24 by 36 master, and the masters are here. It's like these are the sheets in the drawer that you would take out and start drawing on, so that you would have your title block and everything set. So the 24 by 36 master here is, if you click on it, you can go in here and let's say take this out and just highlight it and delete it and put your own logo in. You could have a PDF sitting over here on your desktop of your logo. Just take it and drag it onto here and then spin it around and size it and put it in place. This is for a seal, obviously. And then the project name, all these, and I'll zoom in a little, just like this project name, all these things are pre-set up so that if you go to the info box, and you do that by going for project info, you go up here to file and you come down here to info, project info, click on that. This gives you a list of all these kinds of pre-set up inserts. And so let's say for project name, we'll click on project name here. it opens up a little box. We could have either clicked once and typed it in here, or here we're going to say test Archicad. That's going to be the name of our project. We're going to click OK, click OK. So you see that changed and is now test Archicad. Okay, so you do that for all of these, and again, you can make them, more or less whatever you want. And then the master is set that way, so that when we go back to this first floor plan layout, you're going to see that test Archicad is sitting there. So for every one of these sheets that has a few things on it, this is from another, we'll just get rid of those. But it's already populated all this. So you can have all this information on every sheet, and as long as you've set it up on the master. And then in terms of elevations, it's using a 24 by 36, so that's why it's working. If we changed to like elevations and we changed the settings in elevations and said we want to use a master layout that is 30 by 42, we're going to say okay. That just gave us a bigger sheet, and it still allowed us to have test Archicad because that's in the info of the project. So all that information gets put in, and then anywhere that you see these kind of inputs, it'll automatically populate that for you. All right, so we'll put that back to the correct settings and make it a 24 by 36. So that when we do something. But anyhow, there we are. First floor plan. You want to print that out, you can literally just go Command P and print that. I will show you another way to go about it later in Publisher. But for now, there it's on the sheet, and you can print it out and ready to go. Hope the video was interesting. I know it's way too long. Hopefully I didn't use and so and too often to bug the heck out of you, and hope you learned something. See you soon doing the second floor.